Okay, in this, we are going to talk about EFS, which is the second brother of EPS volume. Now, EFS simply means Elastic File System. Now, this is a serverless and cloud storage that encourage shared and multiple access to resources by AWS instances. So it means that with EFS, different AWS services, they can fetch files, they can fetch data from EFS. So EFS is just like a centralized system where different resources can actually fetch data from, or can actually fetch file from. So that is what we call EFS. EFS is not like EPS volume that is only attached to one instance, maybe like EC2. EFS can be attached to different kind of resources within the cloud environment. And those resources, maybe they are 100, they are 50, they are 1,000. They will be able to access files from EFS concurrently and simultaneously. And that is how powerful EFS is. So EFS is serverless, meaning that it is not managed by you. It is actually managed by the AWS provider. So they are the one that manage the data, they manage the scalability, they manage the workload that is on EFS. But it works efficiently to make sure that file can be accessed concurrently from different resources within the AWS. EFS use the network file system protocol, and it allows different EC2 instances to access files from it simultaneously or concurrently. And apart from it, different containers, different on-premises servers, they can access file from EFS. So the purpose of having EFS is just to be able to have a centralized storage where different resources can come and fetch data that they want to use from. So that is just the essence of EFS. So if you look at me here, so let's say this is resources 1, this is resources 2. So I am the EFS. So if this one, maybe they need to fetch a file, this particular resources need to fetch a file. So it's going to come here, fetch it, while this one too is fetching it. So different resources can be fetched from EFS. So that is how EFS is. So EFS is just a centralized serverless storage system, you understand, that allow different resources or different services to fetch files from it concurrently and simultaneously. Now, what are the features of EFS? Number one, it is serverless, meaning that you don't have to manage the server. AWS provider will manage the server for you. Number two is that it has elastic scaling. It means that it has the ability to shrink, and it also has the ability to expand when you delete or you add file to it. That is number three is share access. It allows different kind of resources, different kind of services to fetch files from it and use it for their own purpose. So EC2 can fetch files from it, RDS, different categories of services they can fetch file from EFS and use it for their own purpose. The next one is high availability. It has high availability because it stores some of those data in multiple availability zone, so that if it crash, it still have backup in another availability zone. Then the last one is that it has life cycle management. It has the ability to move infrequent file. It has the ability to move them to a cheaper storage, so that the users or the particular organization will not spend much whenever they store file in it. So it has the ability to shift or to move any file that is not frequently accessed by the user. It will move it to a very cheaper storage, so that they will not have to spend a lot of money on those infrequent access files. Now, what are the real life usage of EFS? One of the real life usage of EFS is content management system. Now, what happened there is that, let's say your website, you need to upload some videos or some photos, and those photos or those videos, they have huge megabytes or they have huge size. What you can do is that you can definitely store them in EFS, and your application will be able to access them directly into your website, so that your website will not be able to lag at all. So that is one of the important. So we use it for content management system. Then the third thing is that they also use it as CI/CD pipeline. So what they do is that EFS can also be used to store what? To store some source code of what? Of CI/CD pipeline security, such that whenever GitHub Action or Jenkins want to use that particular code, it can easily fetch it from the EFS and run it against the application, so that it will be able to checkmate or validate the security of that application. So they use it for storage of CI/CD pipeline code. So one of the important aspects of EFS is that it has the ability to encrypt any files that is stored. So it can encrypt files that is stored using KMS. So EFS is one of the important storage that enable different resources or different services to access file from it concurrently or simultaneously. And this EFS is better than an EBS volume, because it allows multiple and different kind of resources to access different files from it at the same time without any interruption. So that is that about this video. See you in my next